Ryan, I'm so upset right now. I just. I, here, have some popcorn. I had a hot dog earlier. It's fine. It's okay. Do some steps. Okay, good idea. My favorite moment from this week's Jen Shaw, smile crying like a lion.
A proud lion.
Yes. Y'all, I am here. This is Reality Gaze, and this is what I'm calling Bravo Blowjob. I mean, Bravo Blowout. Blowout. I don't even know. And this is, my guest is Ryan Bailey. Yo, say hello, Ryan.
What up, Reality Gay Nation? What up, Gation? Let's do this.
Gation.
That
is the straightest phrase ever uttered on this podcast.
I'm just trying to fit in. Like, I am, you can't see me right now, but I've got a bucket full of lube all over my body.
Oh, it's
I have
hot.
not showered today. No underpants at all. I'm ready to talk Bravo.
Your asshole is freshly shaved. So,
yeah. I took Colty's instructions on how to shave my back hair and asshole.
Yes, all of it. Perfect. Y'all, he does a podcast called So Bad It's Good. I think it's So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey.
That's it. It's truly it. Yeah.
If you don't know it, you guys, he covers all Bravo that is fit to print, and some that's not, and other pop culture, Kardashian, basically things you watch that you feel sick about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's like this really niche thing. I was talking about like the new Sex in the City, and it's like one of my favorite shows to watch, but it's all a hate watch. Like I hate it, but I look forward to it every week. And pop culture now is turned into things that are just like bad, but we love them so much. So it provides this kind of amazing thing that we end up taking pride in all of this horror that we watch every week, you know?
It's cathartic.
It's so cathartic.
It helps us process the world we live in. That's where we are with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go as far to say these shows cured COVID for me. These shows did it. I feel these shows actually did help me and help all of us through the most insane 2 years of our life.
Y'all, Mike, who looks like Minion fucked Wallace and Gromit, cured COVID.
Yeah, 100%.
For Ryan.
Yeah.
Te amo. Before I know Ryan does cover all of these Bravo shows. The hardest working person, the devil works hard, but Ryan works harder. I know, because we've talked about this before. Ryan also watches our baby, 90 Day Fiance. He does not cover it, but Ryan, tell us about what you think of the latest Before the 90 Days season 5. Are you enjoying it?
I absolutely love it. I love that it's mainly new people except for like superstar Usman, like international superstar.
International
they had to get the J-Lo of wherever he's from, Nigeria, I think. But like Zara. I love that it's all new people to like it reminds you that there's weird people everywhere you look. It's not just like Angela and Michael. I love, but also I just like I've thought, and I know this is like I don't know if this is uncouth to talk about, but like
this is Reality Gaze, so you're fine.
I'm not good with their names, but like I've been picturing having sex with a little person all week, or like wait no not me, but like that guy on the show. I've been picturing how he does it.
Well, let me share this with you, what I told my audience, and I basically dared them when I was talking about on my show with Kyle from Cray Cray, and I said, okay, all you fuckers out there, that don't you lie to me that when they talked about they had sex, you're like, all of you said, I wonder what positions I did. And if you said you didn't, well, they must have done the rear view window or the sprinkler.
Oh yeah, the lawnmower, the shopping at a grocery store.
Everyone thought it. You're a liar if you say you didn't. So this whole idea, your curiosity is is valid. I've
I
completely
was
validate
so
you.
fascinated. I went online and tried to find merch involving them. I was like, I've got to be a part of this. And you know what's so great about these shows is I'm so used to watching them with my phone up and kind of scrolling. I
Yeah.
shit you not. I put the phone down. I rewound
Oh,
it, and I was like, I got to hear everything there's, because he treated it like he was like a scientist, like an astronaut. He was like, it's very interesting. I started off in this position, and was
quite a
that hurtful?
conundrum.
Yeah, it's kind of like a normal person, but it's a little different in the sense that I don't want to cause pain, and I was just really testing the limits. And I was like, this is so bizarre. And you could tell she was like, go further, go further. Like she was telling her
Yes.
friend, like, I want, like, she's not concerned about her hurting at all. She wants him to
Yeah.
prove his love.
She's not concerned about a lot, which is why, especially when it comes to social media, which is why we've basically decided we're not going to cover her anymore.
I don't know, like, the beauty
Oh,
about not
Ryan.
following the beauty about just watching 90 Day. I don't follow the social media aspects of these people at
Oh,
all.
oh. Well, this has immolated within a 1 week period. Someone found, not even to belabor it even more because we talked about it before, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. Someone found a Facebook post from her where she said, "You guys, it's time for the best party. It's called N-word night."
What?
And
What?
yes, it is. And she was kind of dressed in almost uh drag king style as a black person, obviously.
Did this take place on La Sienna from Below Deck?
Uh
The party?
no,
Oh,
no. There's a whole different racial
oh
insensitivity
my
issue
God.
that Bravo had.
She was doing blackface?
What I would call, yes, it's blackface to a degree because she was dressed in, but as a male. So it's kind of like drag king blackface, which is a new level of horror, really. And she said she didn't know what the word meant because she was raised in Russia, even though she
Oh,
studied in
come
Chicago.
on.
Now, and she told people that they needed to get over it. Um,
Oh, imagine having to struggle your whole life as a little person and still finding time to hate. Like, still find, you know what? I still want something for me and myself to,
and
like,
you,
look
she's
down
like,
upon.
she's like, I deserve to be able to say this. Well, the thing is, she kept doubling down everything, and people found other posts. They found posts where she's like, I really like Hugh Grant, but I don't like that his kids are half Asian. And
What?
no, it got
Like,
nutty.
I didn't even know that. Like, what?
Yeah,
She's like looking into like Hugh Grant's life.
no, it's mindless. Then she wants to be an influencer. She wants clout. So it's almost like she's trying to destroy herself, but it's like a bad Andy Kaufman sketch that just keeps going.
Yeah.
And she says at one point she did this picture in like a hijab where she goes, ready to be
No.
134th wife. And I'm like,
No.
so who are we going to go to next?
Oh my God.
What?
You know, she is right. She sounds like a stand-up comedian, like my friend Shay Diaz. Just an amazing, and because she makes you think. She really makes you think, and that's. But I had no clue of any of this stuff. I'm just going by like all I've been thinking about is that guy like breaking one of her hips accidentally with
No,
his monster schlong or
that
something.
is actually the nicest conversation we can have about her. Really is we can. That's the funniest part because now everything about her, she's shown herself to be. She hasn't even tried to apologize. She did everyone's favorite apology. I'm sorry if anyone was offended that I used that word, the
It would be
non-apology.
amazing if Jenny from Salt Lake copied her apology with her apology
Oh my
yesterday, and
God,
it was just like
yes.
a form letter for all reality stars of sending the same apology letter.
God, I
But
love Jenny.
Jenny leaves in of like, I may be short in stature, but my ideas, and Jenny's like, oh no, I'm regular size.
But yes, but I am of tall stature. But I think no, I'm telling you, one Google on Reddit will give you everything, and you'll
Dude,
do
that
that.
Reddit, that I fear my life to ever be a subject of a Reddit. Like I mean, because I don't go on Reddit, but people will send me things, and I've never seen that kind of thorough work about things. Like, I mean, it is like that's like shit I wouldn't even do in high school to pass classes. People are putting that work in their free time. In fact, I mean, like
Oh,
they broke open like the Jen Shaw case, they broke open the
yes.
Erica Jane case. Like the stuff that they're able to do is I just don't know why there's not like a the Avengers of reality show investigators, you know?
I think there basically is, and it is Reddit, and it is. I have to kind of limit myself because the way, and I try to read a ton of comments because it gets worse and worse the farther down you go. But and the last thing she did, her friends, Elijah, her friend, and even Caleb are defending her, saying people have to be, and we're just to this point because we're probably not going to cover her anymore because I could say it with certainty we're not going to cover her anymore.
That's smart.
It's become joyless talking about her, and this is obviously that someone who doesn't want to, number one, they don't want to learn,
Learn.
and they don't. So she could say that I was Russian, I didn't know this word was racist. Okay, that is in a whole different category of crazy, but we could believe you were penitent about it, but she's not shown that at all. So we're like,
But don't you think that's what reality stars all have in common is that they always double down? Is that
yes,
they double down and they never learn. Like that's the thing. That's the thing with Jen Shaw. Like Jen Shaw will go to prison still saying she's innocent. Like guys, she like I hope everybody can face she will go to prison. There's no
no, she's going to
like
prison.
there's no leeway and she'll go in never admitting she's wrong.
Her and
And
Stu
she
Chains together.
Stu, wait, at least Stu Chains admitted he did something wrong.
Yeah.
Jen Shaw goes, well, it must be a coincidence. I don't know what Stu was doing with all of my equipment. Like she says, it blows me away that like Salt Lake gives her this like free infomercial every week. And like the other ladies are so horrible around her that Jen kind of looks okay by comparison.
I was thinking the last couple weeks I've been thinking that even though she has like a weekly scream fest at someone and she makes that lion face, the crying, non-tear crying face.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. It's the next level of Darcy and Stacy's crying through Botox. Okay, yeah, strong, be strong.
Hey, by the way,
But-
do you watch like I was thinking about Aniko and Aspen? Do you think they watch do you think they watch Euphoria? Like, do you think they're involved? Like, I just worry about them sometimes because, you know, of the moms already, but then just like, I wonder if their high school life is insane. I know COVID has happened. And
I don't know. I kind of assume that all kids who are teenagers right now are Euphoria teens. And I'm a little scared. And also like, oh my God, I would love to go to a party and then I remember they would see me as like, who's the old person?
yes.
Because I have to remember that I'm over 40 and they would see me as a creeper. And it's like I had this idea where if I saw Aniko and Aspen out somewhere, I'm like, you girls are so cool. You're like, and they're like,
Yeah,
who are you?
look at you all tough. I love your whole deal, girls.
And they're like,
that's what
thanks, old guy. Ugh.
I always say that on the podcast. I said, no matter who I make fun of or what I make fun of on this, I hope we're all got to be clear is that I am the biggest loser of any of these people.
Totally.
You know, like I'm the one sitting here at like a Tom Sandoval concert, like, woo, you know, like that's.
You mentioned this. I have to hear this story. All right. I know you went to the Tom. I'm sure his creative genius is beyond reproach.
It is. He makes wedding bands cool again, you know?
I will say, I would fuck him in a second.
Dude, okay, so I interviewed
him. He's a very handsome man.
The interview is going to be out next week, and it was my first in-person interview since like COVID and stuff, and I went to him and Ariana's house, and it was a 7-hour night. Like,
oh my God.
He just kept like making drinks and he showed me every collectible of Vanderpump Rules ever. And then by the end, I was like, I gotta go, dude. Like, and he was like, oh, one more thing. And like at the end, he was showing me like dinosaur bones and like just even things that weren't affiliated. He's like, this is a sword from Game of Thrones. He was showing me things that wasn't even involved in the show, but he's like, I love that kind of spirit of somebody of like, I'm going to make this the best night of your life, but but his concert he has a 9-piece band, a saxophone player, all of this stuff, but it was at the Canyon
Interesting.
Club in
Yeah.
Agora Hills.
Yeah.
And
I have
it's like
sadly played there.
it's like in a strip mall, and it's like it's
Great.
a decent vent, but it's like a huge venue. So I was like scared nobody was going to be there. It actually was a really good turnout, but like Sheena and Brock and Ariana, but like here, the big mistake I made, and your audience is going to think I'm crazy, but I was like, I get super nervous like going outside anymore.
Yeah,
So
who
my
doesn't?
friend had like actually a listener of your show gave me like these like little tiny baby mushroom things, like, and I was like,
Of
and you hear
course it's
about,
our listeners.
and you hear about like microdosing. So I thought I'll like, and they were so tiny, and I took a couple because I wasn't drinking.
Right.
And that, by the way, that ended once this all happened, because I was, and I just took, I thought a couple. And by the third song of the set, I realized I was fully tripping on mushrooms. And it like it's really, if you're not prepared to trip on mushrooms, and then you find yourself at a Tom Sandoval concert, it's one of the scariest experiences that I've ever had. I've thought, and when you're on mushrooms, your mind's not working completely the right way. So I thought I was trapped on stage.
Of
I
course.
realized an hour in, I realized I had legs to move, but I was
That,
like, I thought I was trapped.
you have to. I tell people, people say, I'm not a huge advocate of mushrooms. I tell people the only time where you will enjoy it is when when your plane has a crash and there's a bunch of other girls around you, and you need
Yes.
to string up a guy and
Yeah. You're
kiss
like, and
him.
you enjoy soccer, that kind of, that thing.
Yeah, that's the only time when it's passable. No, in all seriousness, if you can be somewhere that's away from a large group of people so the paranoia doesn't start in,
Maybe in
um,
nature too, like some
yeah,
kind of
that helps.
beauty. And
Uh,
Tom Sandoval, a
yeah.
beautiful man, but also a hard thing to watch when all of a sudden I found myself behind Brock, Sheena's fiance or their husband and wife. And like, imagine being on mushrooms and like you watched every episode of the show, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're in the show on mushrooms. And like Brock was like, yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, yeah. He was like a little leprechaun. And Sheena was like, and it was the bizarre, and I couldn't stop laughing, but in my mind, I thought I was dying. And then DJ James Kennedy came on
Oh, shut
afterwards.
up.
I mean, at this point, like a lot of people had gone home, and I think there was like 70 people. He like rips off his shirt,
Of
and for some
course.
reason, he's profusely sweating. Like he's treating this like it's Coachella, which I admire that kind of passion. But it was just like, he's like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And by the way, the other thing that I kept thinking in my mind is, I'm an older dude just like standing there. Like he must be like, who's the dude just standing looking like he's lost? Like I'm just like standing around 50 girls like, woo!
I'm a
And then,
bumblebee and I need to get back to the hive.
yeah, and then I was just like, Tom, like I went over to the one section, and Tom Sandoval after the show was like, yo, dude, what's up, man? I'm so glad you came. And then I was like, great show, man. And then I was like, I'm on mushrooms, dude. Like I just tell, and he goes, oh yeah, man. Yeah. And then I finally had to I finally, my roommate was like, yeah, you got to go. And I was like, yeah, I want to go home. And then on the way out, I saw Tom Schwartz. Like he was in like a big Lebowski like sweater, and
Yes, of course he was.
and Katie wasn't even there. It was a Saturday night, and like he's by himself. And I go, and I don't really know Tom Schwartz, but for some reason, because I'm on mushrooms, I thought I was on TV. I go, hey man, these mushrooms are really killing me. And he goes, oh man, he goes, yeah, I think I got some too, actually. And he starts looking in his pockets, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like it was so bizarre, and it made me so ashamed of my life.
but it's a great story to tell.
Is it?
And
I mean, is it?
I,
My mom was like, what do you mean? Like, thank God my mom doesn't really listen to the pod or anything, but like I insinuated it in an Instagram post, and she likes all of my Instagram posts, even though she doesn't know what I'm talking about. But
no.
she's like, why, what happened on Saturday night that you're so ashamed about? And I just didn't know what to say. I said, oh, my jeans don't fit anymore,
Good, because she's like,
Yeah.
Ryan, are you taking drugs? Do I need to call someone?
Yeah. Could you imagine having an intervention for mushrooms?
No, my mother, who we call Mother Poodle on the show, still thinks I smoked cigarettes in my early 20s, and my mother still thinks I smoke, even though I have quit. She's like, Chamber, did you smell smoking. Smell it again. I swear. Yeah, I think I smelled it. Do I need to call your friends and ask if you were smoking? I'm like, I'm 44 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not smoking. I promise you. Because and that was like like my early 20s. She's like, I think I smelled it in your rental car.
Oh, I mean,
Uh,
this is even worse. Like ever, and this holidays now like suck every time. My dad is an undercover weed smoker. Like we all know he smokes weed, but he tries to hide it from all of us. And like he's retired and stuff. But my dad, they live in Arizona. Every time I'm coming out, I'll wait for like I'll be getting a text from my dad like right now, and he'll be like, "What's up, bud? Can't wait to see you. Any way you can get me some stuff and bring it with you?" And that's always code for weed. And then when I drive in or whatever, he'll be like, give it to me before mom sees. Give it to me. And I'm like, God, Dad, chill out. And then he always hides it in the garage. And I like always second day I'm there, my mom will go, it smells like a skunk is in the garage. And like I'm
she
like,
knows.
oh, she totally knows. And then one year, my dad, like all of a sudden it was fine. I brought him a tray full of pop brownies my friend made for him. And I said, Dad, just eat a little bit. They're really strong. He goes, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then
Not with
the last day my mom comes in and goes, hey, I'm worried about your dad. And I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, he's been asleep for 16 hours now. And I'm like, what? And I go out to check the brownies. He ate like a half tray of brownies. And then my mom goes, I think he's smoking weed again. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm
Columbo.
like, in my head, I'm like, how dare my dad put me in this situation? And then he goes, I think he used grandma's Christmas money to buy marijuana. And I'm like, because my grandma gives us all $50 for Christmas. And I was like,
Honey,
I love
that would
that
cost you
grandma.
nothing in Los Angeles. That would be a joint.
Oh my God. That's the worst part now is that Arizona has passed. Like you can go buy legal weed in Arizona without a card. I keep telling my dad that he still prefers me to get it for him. Like I live in California. It's so bizarre.
$50 at like MedMen would get you like maybe a joint.
Yeah, well, that's what I bought him a very really strong joint because he was like, I thought I was doing right. This was like a year ago, and I didn't really talk to him about it. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke weed with my dad.
Yeah.
I don't, so I give it to him, and the time after I came up, I actually like, Dad, do you want me to get you anything? He goes, I don't think so. Not after that last joint. And I'm like, what? And he goes, that wasn't right. That joint wasn't right. I go, Dad, that was like I said, did you smoke that whole joint? And he goes, well, duh. And I'm like, Dad, that's like a joint you just take a couple of hits out of.
Yeah.
It's like, and he goes, well, I smoked the whole thing. And he's like, it was a really bad day for me. It was just a really bad day. And I'm like, where did my dad all this? Like my dad was in Vietnam. Like he goes, this is just not the kind of stuff I grew up with. I'm like, yeah, Dad, that's what I keep trying to tell you. And you keep like, I can handle it. And then you like totally ruin it for yourself.
Maybe stop mainlining so much weed that you're Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
I'm like,
I've taken edibles for me where I've taken edibles where I've been at the beach where you don't think they're really working, so you take another gummy worm and then you have another fish and then you're sitting there on the beach and all you can think of is I'm too high.
Yes.
I'm so high. That's just repeating over and over in your head.
Just like release me for this.
That's why I don't do edibles anymore. I might have like a puff on someone's vape pen, but even that, I'm just
even with the edibles, like if somebody gives me one, I will take maybe 1/10 of the edible. like honestly, if it's a gummy, I'll just break apart one little tiny piece and I'll hide it from them. Like I'll act like I take the whole thing and then I've palmed it in my hand because obviously I still love peer pressure and I'll just hide it from people and then go, wow, this is a good edible, you know?
Oh, this is good shit.
Yeah.
Moving on from drugs, although we could talk about drugs forever.
Guys, you guys are like, I hate this guy.
Oh, no, not at all. They love you. Our listeners love you. When I said I was doing something, they're like, yay, Ryan, on our Instagram. They said like that. That's all. They're like, yay. They're all 3-year-olds. Yay.
Yay!
So let's just dig in. You know all things Bravo. Let's dig into Below Deck and new stew on the block. This is episode 12. We're almost through this season.
See,
What
I
is?
feel like we're halfway. Like, I feel like there's another 12 episodes. Like,
Ugh.
always below deck season seems like it's never going to end.
It's been. This has been. I've got. So I. How do I say this? I started with OG Below Deck, and I watched it forever because it was my favorite Bravo show. I
Yeah.
loved all the situations. I love the way the ship works. I love Captain Lee. I then moved into Below Deck Med, and then I discovered a level of hate for Captain Sandy that I
Oh my
did
God,
not
I'm the
think I
same way.
had in
Like,
me.
mind your own business, Captain Sandy. Let
Oh,
people, like, you're always hovering.
worst leader ever. Can I give you some constructive
Yeah.
criticism?
I've worked on a lot of ships and I see a lot in you. I really do. Like,
Oh, she's a special level of terrible. But I went all the way through. I will say, and so I kind of convinced Maddie to do Below Deck because I said, "Oh, it'll be great. I love talking about this show." We did the last season of Below Deck Med with Captain Sandy, the first without Hannah, and I'm like, it's different. It's not as good. I promise. And then this was our first Below Deck season we did. I'm like, it's usually better. It's usually better than this. And we start off strong, and it's maybe it's just because there aren't that many cuckoo charters, and the deck crew is kind of bland, and Heather. I don't.
Heather annoys the crap out of
She
me. Like,
annoys most people.
but
Yeah.
like, we had almost a threesome last week and I'm still bored. Like, I'm like, how did I get bored
Yeah.
almost watching a threesome,
Yeah, and I think the thing about the show too is you have the whole show has now become about Heather saying the N word, and I'm not saying it she that we should not be a huge plot point, but it's kind of like having to go through it and talk about it and talk about why the things were. Yes, we can say that Heather should not have said the N word to Rayna,
Seems
or
obvious.
it
Seems
seems
fairly obvious.
obvious.
Yeah.
No one should say that word. And
Yeah.
yes, Eddie, and I'm still unclear about what Eddie thought and
Yeah.
what did Eddie know and when
Wait,
did he know it?
because by the way, Eddie, on this episode, Eddie was like, no. I didn't. I said you should
Oh
feel.
boy,
You should feel the way that you feel. No. I want to be clear.
no,
I
no,
said
no.
you should feel.
I love black people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
First and
basically
foremost,
what Eddie
if you
said.
know, the reason I'm in yachting black people, obviously, I love them. I love, like, he was like stumbling all over. It was so funny, but the
My
fact
favorite
that
show was Good Times. It
yeah,
was.
I love JJ Walker. We all know it. We all love it. But it's like been 5 episodes now. Like, I thought that was
I
done,
know.
and it came back. But
He.
also,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying with Rayna. Rayna's like, I mean, Rayna is rolling her eyes a lot,
She
even
is.
away from this situation. And I didn't personally understand. Maybe I'm not getting the nuance, but I don't get, like, Captain Lee genuinely liked how she did the anchor and then complimented her. And Rayna was like, I can't be played with like
Well,
this. And I don't know if I necessarily fully understood
we
what
didn't
happened.
understand that before. I didn't understand it last week either. And
Okay.
we did have a listener contact us saying it's just another step of why she feels very isolated as a black woman on this boat. And I can kind of understand it. I think she's also very young.
Yeah.
Her maturity level is so. I think being in a high stress job like that, having to deal with that from Heather makes her kind of go back and forth. And what I've told people about it's tough because the whole Reddit community and the whole Below Deck community is like pro Rayna, anti Rayna, and I think Rayna can be experiencing a lot of microaggressions and racism on this boat. She can also still be a sucky deckhand.
Yeah. By the way,
And she can
this
be
is
kind of
the
a shitty
worst.
person.
It's the worst deck crew. I mean, how
Oh,
many
aren't they
we've
terrible?
we've had things fall off chairs. We've had people just die on the ocean. Things are falling off every which way, and both things can be true at the same time.
Exactly. Yep.
I just thought with the Captain Lee thing, I thought he genuinely was wanting to give her a compliment, but I understand also that it might feel like then once again you're being pushed out.
It
So
felt like a bait and switch, I think, to her. And because Captain Lee, I don't think really they were trying to, and what we talked about this on the show, that is a common thing that happens on Below Deck and a lot of procedural reality shows where someone fucks up and screws up. then the next moment they're given a chance to learn and do something, and they are rewarded and they're built up for it. And I think that would have worked had Rayna not experienced what she had been dealing with in the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But I think we're also seeing I'm sure it's gonna blow up more in the next episode, but where Eddie is just I don't know if Eddie's made out to be a real first officer. I just, especially with this deck crew.
I always then, like, cause I love the premise. And by the way, all the ladies that are listening know that this is the kind of the feeder show for husbands and boyfriends. Like,
Totally.
Below Deck is that show that everybody usually, it'll hook you at least because it's a big boat. Summer
Yep.
House is a little like that too with dudes where they'll be like, I love to get shit canned. I'll watch that show, you know. But
It is the dude vacuuming
yes,
into
so
Bravo.
it's that baby, it's that feeder system they have going. But half the time now I'm watching this season, I'm actually writing fan fiction where like I picture like pirates taking over, and then Captain Lee's like, they're not gonna take my boat. Shit on Shinola, you know, like I just like random things that Captain Lee says because nothing. Like I hate Heather with a passion.
Ugh.
Rachel obviously is an amazing chef,
She's
but
amazing.
she doesn't have good people to work off of, and we don't get to eat my cooter this year.
Well, she doesn't have a stew to. She doesn't have a stew to be her foil, or a chief stew to be her foil, like Francesca or someone like that. And the problem with Heather is she may be good at her job sometimes, but she doesn't have a way to let the audience in. There's no way we can find no one really likes her.
No,
Um,
I can't get a beat on her personality except that I feel like she's extremely fake.
that's the problem, because you never thought Kate Chastain could be extremely fake with the charter guest, but
But then, yeah,
as soon as you knew exactly what she thought
yeah.
behind. Yeah, so it's a
And
difference.
like there's, I guess you could say, like, and Fraser is upset that there's a new deckhand, and like Fraser wants to be perfect. And I thought nothing just has ever really just taken off for this season yet. Like nothing has
No,
taken off at all.
there's been no character that shines. We haven't even had characters like we haven't even had a Riley this season, or God forbid, like a Zhao, or a like a or like a meat-headed South African. There's no,
or
I think
even like the actual guests of the boat. We've had some
no.
nasty people. We've had a lady wired shut that she needed everything like disgusting. They were like putting like chomping up chicken and steak into broth for her to drink.
Don't
But
forget oysters.
yeah, dude, that was,
No.
if I ever have like a oyster shake, I would die. But don't you like the other thing? The premise is kind of like really thin. Is that I think it's so funny that we're supposed to believe at all times on this ship that they are like one beverage service away from the Titanic. Like it's like everything is about to fall apart at all times for these guests. Like the upstairs downstairs element of it, it's always like, damn it, they need their drinks and they need them now. And like there's always, it feels like it's always about to explode.
You know what, though? That you are so right about that, and that actually started happening on Below Deck Med first. It's almost like because there wasn't enough drama sometimes, and there was this kind of upstairs downstairs. If a guest has to ask 3 times for a martini,
Yes.
someone walks the plank.
Yeah.
It is that, and then that trickled over. I've seen it the last 2 seasons on Below Deck, especially with Francesca, who I didn't like at all, but I think who got a raw deal. And she was trying to do her best, but I knew she wasn't going to stay around because no one really liked her.
Yeah.
But I think they have high hopes for Heather. And I think now they
Dude,
realize,
I think she's on another season already, and I'm like,
fuck.
that's wild. Like I just don't even understand what would possess them because yeah, there is no personality there. And I will say, and I'm not making fun of her looks, but every time I stare at her face, I don't know what's happening. Like there's something about this, but not I'm not saying the lips. I'm not saying like it just feels like she has like 3 different faces on her face. Like
You know what it is?
it's the mushrooms. It has to be me and the mushrooms. I'm
Well, people have said it's like an slight over, not an overbite, but something with like an upturned lip. But there is a certain she tries out lots of makeup looks in the confessionals, and that somehow don't really jive with what she's wearing on a day-to-day basis, I think.
Like I know she's pretty or considered pretty. I just don't know how it all comes together. I don't know. It's like
I don't know. I haven't liked girls for so long.
Wait. You telling me you don't like girls? Come on, man.
I have a confession to make. Yeah, but we're gonna take a quick break, and we will come right back to doing a little bit more Below Deck. We'll be right back, you guys. I gotta tell you, I'm really. I find the N-word offensive.
Yeah.
Hey, not anybody else, but
Eddie's like, I can't say that word, Captain. What word is it? You know what word? I hate that word. Yeah, like
the word. It does feel like we're trying to have it's an after school special moment.
Yeah. Like there should have been music underneath this Eddie, of like yeah, Eddie, when I started yachting.
People said that.
Yeah. I remember when we started yachting. It was a horrible business, and we've come so far. And, you know, like, and then Captain Lee's big way to solve it was like, well, you're going to have to find out what happened. And like you get to the bottom, like get to the bottom of that word. Like, what are we getting to the bottom of? Like I expect you to solve racism today.
And it's like Eddie is completely incapable of this. And also it's not that I think with a situation like this, it's also weird that Eddie keeps telling Rayna to handle it yourself, because obviously that's not worked. And it's not, Heather will say, I've already apologized. What else do you want me to do? So it is something as Eddie, as kind of first officer of that boat, who I think he does outrank Heather in this way. So he needs to say, let's all sit down. I'm going to be there and we can talk about this, because I don't think that will do it for Rayna either, because Heather, I don't think either Eddie or Heather have a capacity to understand where Rayna's coming from in that way.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't. But also, I mean, it's like Heather kind of now seems to have the attitude of like, I apologized already.
Exactly. So, and it's interesting. I wonder about, this is more inside baseball about Bravo, but like you said before, I think they're already filming with her.
Oh,
so
I believe, I mean, from what I hear, that they are like on another Captain Lee season. So I think, like, you know, it is funny, you know, you can always, and in fact, I had this account on this week called Bravoholic Data that like breaks down all the, like how many Instagram followers each like person gets after the, you know, and Rayna gets the least Instagram followers per episode, which is wild, you know, and then Heather gets, and it is funny because then she also breaks down the amount of screen time that each character has. And you can really see which stories Bravo are pushing, which people Bravo, like, even if you don't like Noella on OC is investing in Noella.
Right.
You know, like you can really see they are putting their efforts behind this person. Even if you don't like them, Bravo says we have a future here, you know?
It's interesting. And they're trying to figure out who catches on. And I think a lot of people, we all think that people think like we do on the left coast elites. And if you go home like me to South Carolina and people are like, yeah, I love that show. What do you watch again? And I said, well, we do 90 Day Fiance. Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I like Big Bang Theory. Do you like Big Bang Theory? And I'm like, don't think we're going to be friends.
That would be amazing if you guys start recapping Big Bang Theory.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. It would just be us telling why the jokes aren't funny to us.
But this is my stoner dad like loves Big Bang Theory. In fact, I feel like they put something in it that like over a certain age like hypnotizes them. Because my dad will watch every episode of Big Bang Theory.
Um, my brother and his friends used to like sit around watching Big Bang Theory, and I'm thinking, I've watched parts of it, and I think some of it's funny, but then I'm just like, but is it?
Well, then I
Is
don't know
it?
if people like if younger people like are they watching ironically? But my dad will like see one, it'll be like, this is a good one, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like he's that into it.
And I don't know, and it's different for a show for me like Seinfeld that I could watch over and over
Oh,
and over
I
again.
actually it's on Netflix, and I started watching it last month again, just like have it on when I fell asleep.
Yeah, someone should do that as a PhD dissertation. Why do some people like Big Bang Theory and others
Wait.
don't?
What's the deal with Big Bang
What's the
Theory
deal?
and
Exactly.
Seinfeld? Yeah.
And then colon strategical analysis of blah blah blah. That's every paper you've written in your master's. Quote colon explanation.
Oh, colons scare me.
You know you've all done it. So let's get in. So basically, Eddie is telling Heather that she needs to, or sorry, Eddie is telling Rayna that she needs to solve this with Heather, and it's kind of like, okay, but we talked about this before the break. How is that going to go down? It's like I see this as just heading towards Rayna having another meltdown, or Heather and Rayna having another head to head, or maybe it'll just kind of fizzle. I don't know if there's any way for this to be resolved.
No, I don't think there. And it seems like from following their social medias, it really hasn't gotten resolved. And
Yeah.
we got an apology from Heather on Instagram. The
Yeah.
day after that
On the
first one,
Notes app,
the Notes app apology is always gold.
they're so
But
in.
but yeah, I mean, a lot of the season is fizzling. But I like your point to go like, yo, on top of this, they're not a great deck crew. Like this is a poor
No.
deck crew. Like Eddie really does seem like he's really like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yep.
I do not know. Like I've never like Eddie almost seems frazzled that things are going badly.
He does, and this was a really terrible time for him to become a first officer with a group. I think Jake knows what he's doing, but he's such a loose cannon that he's going to choose fun over anything else, and he's not going to be a kind of an ethical leader.
Well, I love that Jake is engaged, and Jake is like some people are just blessed where they get away with anything. Like
That's
he's almost
him.
like you said, he's almost looked like Puck or like a spirit or a fairy. Like I'm like he just he loves people. He needs them. He loves a touch. Like it's not like
love.
whoa it's like yo he has a fiance that probably doesn't know he's cheating, and it's like Jake, you love him, and he kisses guys and girls. That's amazing. Like they're almost patting him on the back for being bisexual. They're like,
Oh,
good
no.
for you, good for you.
What fools these mortals be?
Yeah, it's like bottom. Like, what shall I be? No, never mind. I was trying to remember Shakespeare.
We're gonna go Shakespeare. Yeah. This is the point in the podcast where Maddie would go, "Never heard of it," and I would just say, "Move on." So you guys, the new stew is here, and as far as her name is Kaylee, as far as I can tell, there's a little bit of personality, but most importantly, she's a living, breathing person with arms.
Yeah,
and like, she can do laundry, and so Fraser is happy. So that's all that's important.
Yeah, and Fraser's just like, I'm still the baddest bitch on this boat. Like, like he really was worried that she was going to take over his job or something.
He is the thing about this is common, especially with I say young gay professionals, but I think all young professionals, but especially young gay ones. There's this idea that you're so motivated to do so well because you were shoved in a locker so many times, and he mentions that like, but it does feel he's got a crushing insecurity, and obviously. Nothing is more apt than to figure out that you need control in your life, that you have to be on a yacht that has a small area and you have to handle all of the interiors and everything must be so clean and we must scrub every single
This is how you fold a bed. This is how you fold.
And so no wonder he chose something like that. But his insecurities, I think he's funny. I think on any other season, Fraser would be the least interesting person.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, God, and I hate to say it, but like a lot of Fraser's job, and even like the deck crew, like bores the hell out of me. And I'm so
Yeah.
thankful. Like when Captain Lee said they couldn't wear AirPods while they worked anymore last week, I got frustrated because I was like, in my head, when I imagine myself doing all of these duties, I'm wearing an AirPod, and that's what gets me
Yeah.
through it. Like I'm listening to podcasts.
I think I'm just gonna say my favorite moment in this show, in this episode, was when they were asking Kaylee where she's from, and she's like, "Yeah, from Silver City," and they all go, "Oh my God, Rat Race the movie!" And and they're like, and then, "Oh my God, we have you seen it?" And she's like, "Nope, never seen it."
I'm not like that's why art is so amazing, because every time you're like, there's no way that anybody will ever be a fan of that thing, there's like a group of people that love that thing.
So just a little bit about the guests. If you remember from the previous episode, we have some lovely pet names for them. There's, of course, Limited Dairy, who is married to lactose intolerant, who was not happy the whole first dinner.
Miserable.
And don't forget Shellfish Allergy, who's been having a blast, even though she was served something. Shellfish Allergy has been a joy.
Yeah.
But lactose intolerant, y'all, has water in her ear, which if you've ever gotten water in your ear, you can't get it out, it does hurt your ear. So she's been down there, and it's the kind of thing where y'all, Limited Dairy, lactose intolerance husband, he knows that he needs to be down where she is, because he can't enjoy his whole meal. She's not gonna be happy with him by any means. So he says, "Can you get her some food?" So they're making food for lactose intolerant, and so the next day she's still in bed.
That's the Melissa, right? Lactose.
Yes, that's Melissa. We called them that because
that's way better name. I wish Melissa would change her name to lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant. It's so much better. They were referring to him as, so Limited Dairy has a problem, and I was dying. So the next thing, the guests, these charter guests are wonderful, you guys. Yes, they had that big explosion with Melissa, but we got over it. And the next, the tip meeting is great. Obviously, it's 25,000. That's kind of okay, I guess. They were hoping for and one thing I was thinking about, there was a big thing with bidets this episode where it soaked Fraser in the face.
Yeah, that's what we call prop comedy in the business.
It is. It's prop comedy. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I think there was just one more. There we had at their they're going to go out and have fun. Then Rayna brings up, she's like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about going to cooking school. Maybe we can talk about that." And I said, that is the perfect career for you, because it's something you're passionate about. You can do it kind of solitarily, so that no one has to be your job. No one has to be above you as a boss. That's why I do what I do. I wasn't a good employee. Let me just tell you. Were you a shitty employee? Could you?
Yeah, unfortunately,
did you hate your bosses?
Well, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm very happy that I don't have to be a shitty employee anymore. I do, I when I think back, I'm like, man, I really skated a lot of the times, I really just got by. There wasn't no above and beyond for me. I just got by,
Totally. It was a good day if I didn't scream at my boss.
I worked with actors, and by the end, if you had seen me in my job, you would have thought I was the most unfriendly person. I mean, but also I dealt with actors for 12 years. It's just insane energy to deal with on a daily basis.
No, they're children.
Actors. Yes,
they're children, and I love actors, but actors need to be managed, and they need to be managed like toddlers.
Well, yeah, I mean, they get auditions. They haven't even printed out the script. They're like, I'm like, you're beautiful looking. You're getting these opportunities, and you don't even bother to print out a script. That's wild to me.
No, it's the people who do that are doing the Lord's work. I don't get it. I could never do it again. So we do have a little bit of Fraser apologizing to Kaylee and saying, I'm sorry because you have you were making me uncomfortable, and now I was being insensitive, and now I'm happy, and we're really working hard to make everyone feel good after this season.
Oh, but
Oof.
to go back to that Rayna moment when she
Yes.
said she'd go to cooking school, I just thought it was funny that they all like it was like it felt like her ass was just being like, oh my God, Rayna, I've never heard something as beautiful as that. Rayna, you need to do. And he was like, my God, Rayna, that's the most perfect thing you've ever said.
Rayna, how
Rayna, you
quick
be
can
in
we
a
get you off this boat?
Wolfgang Puck and suck my dick. That's amazing. You know, like.
They're like anything where we don't have to talk about race.
Like, I mean, it was. I never saw it was like yes anding in an improv game.
It
To the
was.
point where you're like, we get it. You agree. You agree. You know.
And everyone's like, "Yes, cheers to Rayna being off the ship and getting out of her hair." Yes.
Like, by the way, next episode, Captain Lee will be like, I called in some favors. You're going to be the head chef on the another yacht tomorrow. Pack your bags. Like,
doesn't matter that you don't have a culinary school degree. It's gonna be on the My Seanna.
oh my God. What if Andy Cohen presents her with like a culinary school gift certificate at the end at like the reunion?
I could totally see that. I actually think Bravo's trying their best to get away from her because she on social media. I don't know if you've seen it.
She goes off. Yeah.
She's not just going for her castmates. She's going for all. And you can kind of be redeemed if you just go for your castmates. But once you start going for Andy Cohen, the network, Captain Lee, production, they have memories of elephants. They will never forget.
Oh man, like even Bravo PR has memories of elephants. Like it's but also Jen Shaw, I feel like Jen Shaw really wants to go there to throw Bravo production under the bus, but she realizes she fully can't do that yet. But that will be one of her last things. That will be one of her when it's all falling apart, she will lash out at production. I will bet my life on it.
No, you're totally right, because that's the last thing you can say. Yep. Even though they've probably been the kindest and most patient with her.
They've given her free advertising every week to say she's innocent.
The one thing about production and producers that I still will never forgive is showing that footage constantly of her children who are innocent marched out of that house. I still will.
The shame on everybody. Like that was
they keep showing
beyond, it. Oh, it was so beyond the pale, and it really brings you back down to earth and thinking about the Jen Shaw stuff, because Jen Shaw is so ridiculous, and those boys are not, and they didn't have to.
They have nothing to do with it.
Know?
They have absolutely nothing to do with it. They are blameless. They didn't ask for this, and the image of having to shown like black boys being like forced with their hands up, going out of a house.
I mean, truly, it's like very sobering. And that's why, like Bravo, it's a very weird couple of years, not only in America, but on Bravo, because, you know, you'll be having these really ridiculous situations or stuff, and we really enjoy it as an audience. And then something sobering like that will happen, or you realize, oh my God, Erica Jane might have sold from orphans and widows. And it doesn't hit the same as like a ridiculous scene about, like, you know, somebody has like a bad stomach. Well, 90 Day this week had a whole storyline about pooping, you know?
Me poop now.
Yeah. My tummy hurt. You know, I'm like, what's going on?
Oh God. Good job, Memphis. I had a big thing with Kyle from Kyle and Cray Cray, and I was like, pooping in a public restaurant. I'm like, first of all, the times I pooped in a public restaurant, maybe I could count on two hands. I feel very, very, very pleased with myself that I'm regular enough to go in the morning. And if I'm sick, that's a different thing.
You guys don't see it, but his hands each have like 1,000 fingers on them. So that's what you guys can't see that at home. Yeah.
But yeah, it divided our whole Facebook group too. They're like, poop in public, yes. And everyone's like, never.
You know what's the most fascinating thing? Like, I will say that with like podcasting with the audience too, is that I have a debate going on if like people should wash their legs in the shower. And for me, that's a no-brainer. Wash your legs. But my friend Mediza is like adamant of like, you don't need to wash your legs. It'll just, all the wetness from the body will
dry your skin out.
Drip. No, but it will drip down to your legs.
That's interesting because For me, if I wash my legs like more like on a daily basis, my skin gets so dry.
Damn it!
Um,
So you're siding with Maritza. I
but
thought this was a no-brainer that we should
but
be
I
washing our
but
legs.
I do wash my legs about every other day, maybe every 3
Okay,
days
yeah,
in
but
the shower.
I didn't realize. Like I thought I was being punked. Like I thought like I'm usually like not the most hygienic person, and I even wash my
You
legs. You
spend a
know.
good 45 minutes giving yourself a good soap down. You can't be too thorough.
Wait. No, next thing you're going to tell me I shouldn't put the bar of soap in my ass? Is that what? Like, is that like?
You shouldn't like have that thing. You're like choked in a noose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Whole
called
like
autoerotic asphyxiation
autoerotic
showering. Yeah.
asphyxiation. Anyway, but the last little bit, of course, you guys, Jake has to. He's wearing, I believe it's Heather's thong, and of course is
Yeah.
showing his ass and jumps in the water.
Free spirit.
He's what fools these mortals be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want to, and everybody likes it. Ding.
And I love that everybody's kind of so boring where they just like, he's amazing. Woo! It's like Harry Styles.
Jake, he's incorrigible. It
Yeah.
is. That's the same. It is like he's their Harry Styles.
Yes, he's like they consider him the eccentric like playboy on the ship, and that's what I just find it so funny is that usually people like that'll be like, weirdo, stay away from me, but everybody's like raising him up high, like he can do no wrong.
It's all. I think part of it is because he's English. An
Yeah, those
American
accents.
guy. American guy would, and it part. So it is that mustache makes him look like he is some type. It is like Lord of the Rings style person.
Yeah,
It is.
there's like a Johnny Depp type character in there somewhere that Johnny
Yeah.
Depp plays on like some shitty movie, you know?
You know, Jake. He's just made of gossamer.
Yeah. Jake, you shine so bright, Jake.
He sleeps on a rainbow somewhere above us.
Where's
Uh,
Jake? Look for the twinkle lights.
So basically, y'all, the boy he's kissing boys, he's kissing girls. It's fine. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Andy Cohen's had a really good time with. I don't think he's been on Watch What Happens Live yet.
No, but like, I mean, I love when Andy gets all horned up by a guest.
I can
Lucas Gage this week, he got all horned up. It looked
Oh,
like
anybody. If can you imagine if that was for women? Can you imagine what would happen?
Yeah.
We get away. I say all the time about our live shows, and I know I could not get away with this if I was a straight man. But I say all the time, ladies, bring your husbands to the live shows. They're going to be all in Poodle's playpen. And
Yeah,
I know,
mean,
and I'm the thing is, I know as a gay man, it's still kind of gross. I'm aware, but it's if I was a straight man saying that about women, no, they'd come for me with torches, and they should.
I mean, I mean, I think, and it's obvious. Like, thankfully, I'm saying enough to even like. I know, like, I couldn't say, like, I want to sleep with all my female listeners, you know?
Yes.
Like, it would just be completely, also just, like, not right for, in any sense of the word.
Even Howard Stern would be like, dude, we got to talk.
Exactly. Oh, but I just now have this, like, thought of, like, Captain Lee, like, God damn it, Jake, I love you. You're so goddamn special, Jake, you know?
Jake, I love it when the dew is on your eyes, and I can see you first thing in the morning.
Jake, you're doing horrible on deck, but God, I love to watch you work.
The way you got that little spring in your step. Fly me off to Neverland, Jakey. Fly me off to Neverland.
Jake, do the curtains match the drapes?
Oh, y'all, this has been, that is it for our first installment of Bravo Blowjob, or Blowout, or Blowout, Blowjob, blow snow blow. Who cares? Toot toot. Good thing it's on the video. We will be back in our next installment to do Summer House, the new season of Summer House, season 6, wherein basically it becomes the third act of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf at the end.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's great.
And we're also be talking a little bit about salt, as Maddie once said, like we're going to talk about salt wives. And I went, you mean Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? He's like, yeah. And I said, What if Salt Wives was a limited series starring Frances McDormand in a group as starring as the lead widow in a fisherman's widows in a town? Everything is bleak. It's Frances McDormand.
Wait,
Connie
I'm pretty
Britton.
sure she's already done this. That sounds like a Frances McDormand
If she
vehicle.
hasn't, I need to write this script. And there's also like June Squibb is there, of course. And every time a fisherman, in every episode, a fisherman dies, and they all have to lean on each other. And the opening credits are just salt water through hands. Salt Wives.
You know what? I swear to God, that's like an HBO limited series. That
I know. Like, what is this made?
HBO should be begging to work this into something, because I can already see it. Like, just the amount of grimacing Frances McDormand would get to do. That's her favorite thing.
And like blue, like harsh blue light, seagulls, the town reeking of brine. I can already see it.
Do you ever have those actors that you hope you never bump into? Like Frances McDormand is one of those for me, because she just, like, I know she would just look right through me.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
she totally would destroy you.
Oh yeah, like she wouldn't, and I would be her waiter or something, and I wouldn't. Something would have been done wrong, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And like,
it's not even that she would be mean. She'd just kind of stare through you and say, "What are you doing with your life?
Yeah,
what are you even here for?"
And I would just burst into tears. All the tears would just flow. You know,
I'm a huge fan of hers, but I know I did not want to meet her.
Like, I mean, that was like, I worked with Holly Hunter once, and I love Holly Hunter. Love, like, broadcast news is one of my favorite.
That's but it's the same impression for me. Holly Hunter's like, we're going to find a killer and we're going to do it. So maybe you're the one. Yes, Dr. Lecter. This is my Holly Hunter, and it's also my Jodie Foster.
I was working with her on this movie, and I realized I was like straight out of college, and I realized, like, you know, I'm not a method actor. I'm not like, and all of a sudden I was on this movie, and like Holly Hunter, like in between scenes, was like going there. Like I was like, oh my God, is she all right? Like she's like in it. Like that, like the other person that was Jeff Goldblum, that was just like in between scenes, he would just like make faces at himself in the mirror, and he would like act like he would be like like by himself in between, like, and we were all supposed to act like it wasn't happening, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And at one point, I'd like to tell them, like an acting teacher once told me, acting is lying, y'all. Acting is lying. Sometimes you can be different people without having to go there.
I'm so lazy that I was just like, why isn't Jeff just like eating snacks? Like, why isn't he in his like he's reading the Spoon River anthology and doing faces in a mirror, you know?
Oh God. On that note, y'all, we're gonna go on. We're gonna end this, but we'll see you on the next episode. We're talking about Summer House and some Salt Lake City, and we're talking a little pop culture stuff at the end. Y'all, I'll mention this at the end. Y'all, come see us live in New York City. That is going to be on the 28th and 29th. We're also presenting at the Crappies, Watch What Crappens Awards, on the 27th. And the good thing is, I know Omicron is still out there, you guys. We have seen there's a little bit of good news. The cases are going down in New York. We're not by any means out of it, but we're really excited to see that. So we're being as safe as we can. It's a vaccinated show and it's a masked show. So we'd love to see you. Friday, there's still tickets available. Saturday is pretty sold out, but there's still a couple there for you. You can go to on Instagram. You can find our link tree, and that's for link for tickets. Y'all check out fucking So Good, So Bad, It's Good. So bad. So
I thought you were about to say I was about to do a live show in New York, and I was like, no way, that's amazing. You're like, no.
I've been doing too much mushrooms. So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey from wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah, iHeartRadio, baby. Let's do it.
There you go. All right, B, we'll see you guys next time, okay?